everyone. I'm Brendan Reedy.
And I'm David Coyer, and welcome to this week's edition of Leatherneck Insider.
In a year that's been unlike any other, sports teams have been hit hard by the pandemic.
The teams have been trying to get back into action, and schools including Western Illinois University are making daily changes to their seasons. Leatherneck Insider reporter Devin Brooks is here after sitting down with the woman behind making those calls on campus. Devin?
Well, David and Brendan, WIU's athletic director tells me she's having to change her game plan on a daily basis due to the pandemic, and she says those changes have not been easy.
The last 8 months, it's just really been a roller coaster of emotion.
Danielle Supernot has been on the job almost a year and a half, but halfway through her first year as Western Illinois University's director of athletics, she was thrown a curveball, just like everyone else.
March, I had to do very difficult phone calls.
COVID-19 hit, and Supernot has been trying to keep the athletics department afloat.
It was at that point that we tried to reshift.
And that reshifting has come with tough decisions.
But it's definitely been challenging, a lot of changes.
One of the major changes was the suspension of the swimming and diving program.
It was a very difficult decision, something that we continue to review and revisit.
It's also brought a big blow to the department's budget, one that usually around this time is a big revenue generator during football season from guaranteed buy games.
You know, you can't continue to kind of cut your way out of things. You have to make larger decisions.
How much of a benefit are buy games to smaller universities like WIU?
Visibility for your student athletes as well, or your institution as a whole. You know, when you talk about playing on ESPN or playing on the Big Ten Network or some of those other majors, I mean, great publicity.
There we go. Supernot says the department has already lost more than $450,000 after cutting some buy games, and it's projecting to lose out on around $114,000 from ticket sales.
When you couple all of those things, it is very detrimental.
Supernot says the burden hasn't been so bad on paying for COVID-19 testing for athletes compared to how it started back in the spring.
Our initial challenge was testing and just the accessibility of testing.
She says the university's testing has helped pay and meet the protocols for games in the NCAA, but taking extra precautions have been top of mind to reduce any spread.
In terms of how you sit on a bus and how you're eating on the road.
Basketball players will be tested 3 times a week this upcoming season, but as you see the players out on the court, you won't see this. Fans in the stands. Basketball will be one of 17 sports that's slated to host games this spring.
Hosting 17 sports in a semester is going to be tough, but we're going to do it because that's what our student athletes deserve.
Do you have any anticipation on spending any other programs?
Not at this time. You know, I'm hopeful that we will have to, but I think that is not our goal.
Where do you see the athletic department a year from now, or 2 years, or a few years from now?
One of the things that we're really pushing is obviously looking beyond just auditing. So how do we help raise more funds? What can we be doing to bring in foundation dollars?
Supernot also says the department has cut or delayed the hiring of around a handful of positions. She said staff are having to take on other people's responsibilities. David and Brendan?
So Devin, we won't be seeing fans in the stands at Western Hall for basketball this winter. What about once it hits spring and out at Hanson Field for football?
Well, as of right now, there's a 20% limit on fans for outdoor games, but as we know, guys, that can always change depending on the pandemic.
We'll have to wait and see. Thank you, Devin. Some club teams on campus are